Hello everyone, it's Tilly from Tilly Jones. Welcome back to my channel and to another Plan With Me video. I am planning the week of the 26th of May in my A5 wide Tilly Journals inserts. That's my own shop. They are the vertical one column with dot grid. That is how I like them, and I get undated just because that's how I want my planner basically. I am using the Bluebell Woods mystery kit from Plannerface. This was the January 2024 mystery, so this should be available in the shop as a 2025 kit. I do PR for Plannerface, so you can use Tilly to save 10%. Though if you've been here on my channel for any length of time, you do know I love Plannerface, and that is why I PR for her, not because I get free stuff, but I do get free stuff for promoting her stickers. But it does mean you can use Tilly to save 10% and to get an extra freebie. We are currently on the autumn seasonal freebies, which is exciting. The foil bundle I use in this kit is also from Plannerface. This one came in the Advent and is this just gorgeous like leaf design in rose gold, and I think rose gold is kind of an unusual pick for a May kit, but I actually really loved how it came together. I'm also using the wildflower underlays from my own shop, which is Tilly Journals in purple, and I think that is everything I have to say about the base of the kit, I think. Who knows? I'm sure I'll think of something. Also, like, I booked an appointment today, right? So I am filming this like when a couple of weeks early, like it's 2 weeks before this video comes out. And I have realised that in 2 weeks it's August. Like, I'm not okay with this. Like, how is it nearly August? Where is this year going? What is happening? Anyway. I've got quite a lot of extenders on this spread, so it is a little bit of a longer video than normal, but yeah, not too long. And I do have 3 books to talk about, and I have not pulled up my reviews, which is normally something I do before I start the video, but my phone is charging and I normally do it on my phone, so I am not prepared, but I can talk about 2 of them quite easily. So the first one that I finished is Heartstopper Volume 4, and I absolutely love the Heartstopper series. Like, I cannot rate it highly enough. Like, it delves into LGBT relationships of all varieties, and it also delves into like some various mental health issues, and I think it is a really, really strong graphic novel series. Although it's technically YA, it's excellent for everybody. By the way, my baby is currently asleep on my chest. I'm not going to apologise for the fact you may be able to hear her snoring, it's not really snoring, it's like heavy breathing. I'm not going to apologise for that because that is my baby doing her thing, and this is the only way she sleeps in the day is on me, but I do just want to give that little disclaimer that that is possibly what you can hear. It feels very loud to me, but it is very close to me and a little bit further away from the microphone, so I don't know whether you can hear it or not. Anyway. So yeah, I would highly recommend the Heartstopper series. We supposedly are getting the 6th and final book this year, which I am excited to see, but yeah, I don't know whether we actually are or not, but yeah, it's great and I'm excited to see it. I really recommend Heartstopper. It's by Alice Osman, by the way. Next I have Lore Olympus Volume 2, which is by Rachel Smythe. These were originally released as webtoons, and now they are being released as books without, like, that you can just read rather than having all of the ads that the webtoon had. I picked these up quite recently because obviously this is only volume 2 that I'm on. I have read volume 3 and I have 4 and 5 from my library. I actually have just been to my library to renew them because I had to return them properly and re-get them out because I've renewed them too many times because I'm in a bit of a reading slump at the moment. You'll see as we move on in June that I finish basically 1 book a week, which is not like me at all. Anyway, this is volume 2 of Hades and Persephone's love story. I preferred this one to the first one. The slow growth of their relationship and the discussions about consent, age discrepancies, strained parental relationships, and other really deep and real topics. This is what I love about both Heartstopper and Lore Olympus. They both like really dig deep into really real topics in a really beautiful way that is really easy to engage with. The art's beautiful. I enjoyed getting to know the characters. I no longer feel like I need a family tree, whilst there are, that I may well make one for my next reading journal. I didn't feel like I needed it quite as much. I feel like I had a bit more of a grip on who everyone was. I'm enjoying the little side stories. and they don't take away from the main story either. Like, it's good. And it makes the whole thing feel like a well-rounded world rather than just being the romance of Hades and Persephone. The art's stunning. Yeah, I can't talk more about how much I love the art. And then the third and final book I finished this week was Blood and Steel by Helen Scherer, I want to say. And my other disclaimer is I am dyslexic. Like, I cannot pronounce new words to me, and names are a real problem. And being a doctor, I do sometimes have to shout patients' names, and I feel awful when I cannot pronounce them correctly because, you know, I have a name that is not very easy to pronounce. I get Talitha all the time, and I'm Talitha, and it drove me crazy as a kid. So, like, I feel bad not being able to pronounce people's names, but it is what it is. I am dyslexic and find new words really difficult. Anyway, this is about Althea, who has always wanted to be a warrior legend. She has 3 years until her death's been foretold, and possibly has her opportunity to do so. Women are forbidden from wielding blades, and so this is obviously a big sticking point for her becoming a warrior legend. Her other warrior is Wilder, who is around and sparks are flying. So this is a romantasy book. I thought this was interesting. I liked the mixture of world building and the storyline. I thought there was enough world building for this, and I like the hints of something more which do kind of come to pass later in the book. I thought the way it built to the twist was really good. I love really strong women in books, and Althea is definitely the definition of that. The sexism, feminism perspective was a nice narrative, especially given everything that's happening in the world at the moment, particularly in America. The smut was okay, but I wasn't that interested in the romance. I was more interested in the fantasy side of this, which normally in romances I'm more interested in the romance. Like, I am preferably a romance reader over fantasy reader, but yeah, I actually cared more about the fantasy story. I don't think this needed the romance, but it wasn't that heavy on the romance either, so it was okay. But that's why this wasn't a 5-star read for me. I wasn't engaged in the romance at all. The trust issues that Althea should have after this book should fill a book that was even longer than that was my little summary. So yeah, that is everything I have to talk about. The books I read. So I'm gonna now get into my day by day. As I've said, I do have plenty of day extenders, so I'm just gonna start talking about the week and what I did. Obviously I'm still putting boxes down in the video, but I will, get there when I can get there, and we will, talk about it. So first things first, I marked having a lie-in on the Monday. I don't know how I had a lie-in. Presumably Bayla was actually sleeping, because it was a Monday, so my husband will have been at work. But anyway, oh no, it was late May bank holiday, so my husband wasn't at work. I remember. Then, Bayla has just woken up, so there may be more noises from her, and I may have to cut this voiceover short, but we will see. After we'd had a lie-in and done the morning routine, we went to visit my grandpa. My mum was away, and she normally goes every other day, so she asked us to pop in. I do try and go and see him every other weekish. So we did visit my grandpa, and he was on good form. On the way home, we did do some food shopping. We went to Tesco's, because there's not actually a Tesco's that close to where we live, but there was one near where my grandpa is in his care home. Then we had some resting time and just did some self-care. Then I was catching up with my baby book for Bayla. It has monthly updates and stuff, and I hadn't prepared it, so yeah, I did some of that. And then I filmed a plan with me. As you probably noticed, Bayla woke up. Luckily my husband is home from work, so he has Bayla and has given her a cuddle, and she is nice and happy with him. So I'm back to record the rest of this voiceover. Yeah, that's just life at the moment. She does not sleep in the day. She has had 3 naps under 30 minutes today, and it is 4 o'clock. Why does my baby not sleep in the day? Literally. Anyway, after I filmed the plan with me, I did some designing of scripts, and I also designed a foil bundle and crocheted to finish the day. That was a really busy Monday. This was quite a busy week, really. I don't know. I was clearly feeling very motivated. On Tuesday, I was having myalgia, which basically means muscle pain. It just means I was achy all over and not feeling 100% is probably what it means. I think I had a viral illness for absolutely ages, and I lost my voice. I managed to not record that many voiceovers when my voice was completely gone, but it was definitely still a little bit croaky when I talked too much. But yeah, I then did my morning routine, which is basically, my morning routine is basically eating cereal. So I pump first thing in the morning. Well, no, right. I get up, I have a shower, I then try and pump. I've usually fed Bela one side or the other of the shower. So then I try and pump some milk so that we have express breast milk to give Bela when I'm sleeping, and then I get dried and dressed and things. Then we head downstairs, make a cup of tea and cereal, potter around the kitchen whilst I'm waiting for the pumps to finish, bag up the breast milk. Then generally Bela is then ready for another feed, so we do another feed, and I do some like my morning routine apps, which I do Microsoft Sudoku, Killer Sudoku, Microsoft Solitaire, a meditation, and Duolingo, except on a Monday I don't do the Duolingo in the morning, I do it in the evening, basically because of... Oh, that wire is in the way, I'm sorry. Basically because your league seems to be better if you don't do Duolingo first thing on a Monday. So that is what I mean when I put in morning routine. Anyway, I then did some updating of my reading journal and designed some scripts as well. I then had my coil put in. I decided I wanted a coil after I had a baby, and it was definitely the right decision, because, you know, it was not painful at all, and it means I am 3 months postpartum and I haven't had a period at all. I've had some like irregular bleeding, and we are protected for, I think it's up to 5 years now, which is great. I don't know what is going on with my microphone, but I just noticed it there and removed it. But yeah, I'm sorry, that was coming into vision. Bela was quite unsettled after that, and my friend Adam came round to visit, and we were chatting. But yeah, as I say, Bela was quite unsettled, which wasn't the most fun thing ever. I was designing some foil bundles, I did some crocheting, and then I read some of Lore Olympus. I did do really well with my reading in May for the Google Readathon, but like since then I've totally fallen off, which is sad. On to Wednesday, I got up early. Bela had a investigation at hospital, basically for cystic fibrosis, and we finally actually have the results. Like, I only got them on Friday last week. I rang up and they were like, sorry, the letter still hasn't been typed, but I can read it to you. So yeah, that was annoying that it took so long to get the results, because it is like mid-July now, so it's been like 6 weeks. But she had what's called a sweat test, because she is a carrier for cystic fibrosis. So that's absolutely fine, because that confirms she doesn't have cystic fibrosis and she's just a carrier. So yeah, but it was quite early in the morning in Hull, so we had to get there quite early. Then my husband had a Zoom meeting that he had to go to, and because I can't drive, he had to take us to the sweat test. So I went for a walk with Bela whilst he had that meeting along the estuary in Hull. Then on the way home, we'd stopped at a like fancy farm shop for lunch. It was really tasty. Spent a lot of the afternoon feeding Bela. I finished updating my reading journal, I think. Then I foiled and cut some stickers, and it was a bath night for Bela, so we did that. On to Thursday. I was very, very tired this Thursday. I don't know why I was so tired, but I was. And then I was walking to the post office to drop some things off, and a post van ran into one of the pubs. He went straight through a T-junction into a pub. Luckily nobody was hurt. He wasn't particularly hurt. He basically had some sort of fainting episode and went straight into the pub. I literally saw it happen. Being a doctor, I obviously went over to see if I could help and do anything useful. I did have Bela on my chest, which obviously didn't make things very easy, and the airbags had gone off, so I actually ended up handing Bela to somebody else that was there helping while I assessed the person that had driven into the thing. Luckily, I think he is okay, and you know, things could have been a lot worse, and they actually were not too bad. So I helped with that. Then we went to Rhyme Time at the library, which is a like music class that we absolutely love. Then I went to the post office because that's where I had been on my way to, so it's kind of ironic that it was a Royal Mail van, and I was on my way to the post office. Then I met my friend for lunch at the Hyde, which is like my favourite cafe in town basically. And then in the afternoon I had an appointment with my psychiatrist at home, and we basically decided to continue. Unfortunately, my foot I'm still unable to drive 6 weeks later, but yeah, I couldn't drive, so she came to my house to see me there. Then had some rest time and tried to go for a sleep, but I absolutely could not sleep, and my mum came over and it was very annoying that I could not sleep. So then I did lots of feeding Baylor, some crochet, and read to finish off the day. On to Friday, started the day with milk and cuddles, lots of milkies for Baylor. Then I filmed my kit lineup, probably for July, to be honest, because it would be too late for June's, probably, I don't know. Anyway, I filmed the kit lineup. I then did some editing. I actually edited 2 videos that day. My mum came around and spent some time with us. I did some of Baby Book and some more of my reading journal. I think this is when I actually finished catching up with my reading journal. I then needed to stick my journal, which is my like thoughts and feelings journal. I stick that up to just like write, so it's like nice writing in it. Then on to and then to finish off the day I did some more crocheting, and that was that. On to Saturday, we did have a bad night with Baylor, which means normally a bad night with Baylor means that we were up not necessarily many times, but she wouldn't go back down after she woke up, and she was just unsettled. So I think I had a bit of a virus this week. I had a bit of a virus for like 4 or 5 weeks, and lost my voice. So you can, in fact, I can hear it. I think I've already said this in this video. I can hear it that my voice is not quite back to normal yet. But yeah, I think that's what she was struggling with, and that's why she didn't sleep very well. Then I had How to Keep a House While Drowning physical copy from the library, because I'd read it on audiobook, but I got the physical copy out the library so that I could make some notes from it. And so I read it through and like made a mark of what I wanted to like make notes about, and then I made the notes this morning because I then had to head to the library to return some books, and I returned that one there. On the way back from the library, we did go to Aldi. When I got home, I did work some more on Baylor's Baby Book, and then worked on my June goals because June was about to start. I tend to start my month like the Monday closest to the start of the month, so June's goals will have started on June the 2nd. I then like did my setup for June, so that basically means all like the filming bits. So like rather than just the pre-month starting bits, so like filling in my calendar and stuff like that, basically migrating my bullet journal setup through to June, making my TBR and stuff like that. Then we had lots of milk and cuddles. Baylor can eat quite a lot when she wants to. I tend to try and mark it in once a day because I spend about 5 hours feeding Baylor a day, so it is a lot of my day. So, you know, although I sometimes can multitask, it still is a good chunk of my day. Yes, some people don't like to mark in things that they do every day, but I feel like it's important to like mark that I was breastfeeding. Like, breastfeeding is not an easy task, but yeah. Anyway, then sorted out the budget for the next month, and before bed we read Baylor stories every night. I don't often mark it in, but I think I had 9 things on this day without it, and I was like, I don't like having 9 things. I like having 10, because otherwise it's 9 things, there's 3 in each box, and some things just don't need to be that big. So I added baby stories because, you know, it's nice to mark it in occasionally, but we do stories before bed every night. What we do to try and get Baylor to our like nighttime routine is we go up to bed. It varies what Baylor is doing at that point. She quite often has a late afternoon nap, a late evening nap, which is really the start of her night sleep. But yeah, and then we have milk and stories, and then until she falls asleep, and then we change her nappy, wash her face, put her in her sleep sock, which is basically a woolen sleeping bag, so we put her in that, and then she has milk again until she falls asleep, and then I wait about 10 minutes after that, and then I put her in her next to me / actually at the moment she's in her Moses basket in the next to me, so yeah, and then she tends to sleep for a little while, and we tend to get about 5 hours at the moment doing that, and it works really well for us. Anyway, on to Sunday. I don't know why I'm talking so much routine-y stuff in this video, but I am, and I'm just gonna let myself blubber. We did a surprise bath for Bela this day. She should have been bathed, I think, a couple of days earlier, but she was, there was a photograph session at there's like a place that does lots of baby classes basically, and pregnancy yoga and stuff like that. They were having a Father's Day picture session basically, so we wanted her to be nice and clean for that. So she had her bath time, I did some more of my reading journal, and then it was time for that session. So it was like a stay and play, so there was lots of like playing and stuff, and then there was a professional photographer taking photos. I was meant to be going to a coffee shop whilst Bela had that, with her dad and with Soch, but unfortunately not very long after, basically there was a queue for the cafe I was going to because it was just across the road, and I didn't want to be far away if they wanted milk. As soon as I got a table, pretty much my husband rang me and was like, she has woken up and is insisting on milk. So I then went across to feed her, which actually it ended up quite nicely because it meant we got some photos of the whole family, not just of Soch and Bela, and then we ended up you got 3 free photos, and then we actually ended up buying all of them, which was nice. Yeah, then as I say, I've marked in cuddles and milk. On the way home we did pop to Aldi to do some groceries. I did some more of the baby book and went for a nap, which I felt a bit mean because Soch, bless him, is very good. He lets me go for a sleep if I need it, but yeah, went for a nap and then finished the day with crochet, and that is pretty much it for the week. I was crocheting a lot at this point, again I've fallen off a bit with that, but that is it for this video. Comment, like down below if you can. Leave some sort of floral emoji, I don't know, there's lavender, if you've got to this point in the video. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next one. Bye!